you can't put a microphone in front of a speaker. So we do have Elle Cochran. She is the West Maui County representative of the County Council. I do have a prize for someone who can tell me Lahaina used to be the capital of Hawaii. Could you tell me what year we were the capital of the Hawaiian nation? Does anyone, did you guys know that Lahaina was the capital? Okay, we got some people that know a little history about the land. Later on today, we have Paulo from the Royal Hawaiian Guard is going to tell us more in depth. But if anyone can tell me what year it started or what year it ended, you can receive this nice CD. 1800s, yeah, we got that. Oh, it started in 1820. Would you like a CD? This was donated by the Kamehameha School's Distant Learning Program. I have some pamphlets up here. I recommend everyone, it's only $25 for a class, and you learn so much, and it's totally interactive. They have virtual Hawaiians that come talk to you and take you through the Apua'a or teach you a mahalo. Thank you for knowing. So we have a mic set up for Elle. And we're so blessed to have her share her time with us.
And so this exact spot I'm standing is very, very near and dear to my heart. You know, as Michael Murphy and others are explaining about what's going up in our skies, you know, within our heavens, the chemtrails and what have you, it stems from there and it goes all the way out to the reef, to the sea. And so for me, it's all connected. And for me, in my job, in my position, I have to keep that always at the forefront of my mind whenever making decisions, because the things that I do, you know, have impacts to things that may not be apparent right in front of our faces at the time. Water being probably one of the top of my priorities, besides the aina, but the water is life of everything. None of us can live without that. And having been on Lanai yesterday, all of us council members went there to discuss water issues on that island, which, by the way, is privately owned, and that water source is also. So it creates a very unique situation for us, the county, our constituents, the people, and the private company that owns the land, the water, the sources, and all of this. So it's pretty complicated, but the bottom line is our water is a public trust, and we, the people, we, you know, those in power, our leaders, that is we need to uphold that. That is our responsibility. So I always, again, bring that to my decision making. And being sustainable for me is to make sure, you know, what we see here today is going to propagate and thrive and flourish throughout. I mean, well after I'm long gone, what I leave behind, the legacy, you know, will perpetuate itself and grow and flourish and just, you know, become better as time goes by and not degrade and not be defaced and not be, you know, less than it had become. So that's extremely important to me, and that's why in this position as a council member, I have these great opportunities and I have these wonderful resources at my fingertips. I have, you know, the opportunity to speak to so many walks of life within our community and from other countries and other states and what have you to learn from. Again, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. Other people live in island nations such as we do. Other people have the same types of concerns and problems, and they found solutions. So you know, my eyes and ears are open and everything to learn from others to bring and implement these great, you know, solutions here in our community to make it that much better. So next month I will be traveling to Okinawa, which my grandparents are from. So I have a huge heritage lineage sort of line that come from those islands, and it was once its own kingdom too, just as Hawaii. And it's, so I'm learning. I want to learn, how do they treat their water? what do they do with their landfills and their recycling and what have you. So same types of situations there. They've implemented different types of solutions, which I hope to bring home to better the world we live in. And and that's what it's about. We all have a gift, we all have a skill, we all have a talent to give to better one another and to teach one another and thereby pass it on for our future generations. And that's where my door, my offices, most people here who have been and made an appointment, I'm there. And I'm willing to listen and I'm willing to learn and I'm always willing to do the best I can, to move something forward that's going to better us all. So I just appreciate everyone who turns out to want to listen and learn from others also, and not be too closed-minded and not, and think they know what's right for others. Because personally, I don't know, and I will always admit that. And so this is why I ask a lot of questions. If you watch me on the council, I'm always quizzing and quite inquisitive with our departments. I want to know what are they doing, or how come the permit process is so slow? Why is that the #1 complaint? Or what have you. So it's definitely a learning experience, but also very rewarding because I get to be there and represent the people, the everyday walks of life, and money, power, and special interests really isn't my big concern. They have their lobbyists and they have the monies to get their ideas and information out. So I really like to be one-on-one with others and meet at venues such as this, or go to just obscure meetings that I never heard of because, hey, it's part of my community that I represent. So it's always exciting. Every day is a learning experience. I just want to thank the people who are willing to come here and dive in and see what is this history, what is this culture about. Personally, being born and raised here, like literally, I didn't know the truth behind our Hawaiian, my heritage, and the stories about overthrow and what have you. I went to a private school up country. They don't teach you that kind of history. And so when my eyes were open to that only a couple years ago, I felt quite betrayed. I felt so naive. I felt like kind of lied to, I guess. And now that I see the bigger picture and the reality, it's quite amazing, and it's also heartbreaking, but also it gives me that much more strength and motivation and enthusiasm to be in that position that I'm in, because I am in this seat of government which has that in my heart of the past, and thereby I can infuse it into the decisions I make today for the people, and to bring us all together, unify as one, to move forward for the betterment of not just the Hawaiian people, but for everybody. Because anybody here is Hawaiian. This is Hawaii, and we are living in the islands. And so it's a pretty incredible, eye-opening, something to acknowledge and to realize after 46 years of living here. It's pretty amazing, and I just can't say enough about the people that go out of their way, persevere, and really stick their neck out there to stand their ground and to say what they got to say. And it takes a lot, because there's so many forces out there that can be against you when you're trying to do good things, when you're trying to do what's pono. And it's okay. It makes me that much stronger. It gives me that much more energy and motivation to want to really power through and lay down all the facts and figures and whatever I got to do to convince and teach and bring awareness to something that is definitely important. And for me, it's an incredible thing when you see accomplishments happen, right? When you see an idea, say the first thing I addressed on council was injection wells. There's a big controversy of how it percolates through and ends up in our reefs and creates algae bloom and what have you. The powers that be said, no, that's not a problem. But I needed to focus on the positive part and something that everybody can agree on, something that's common ground that everyone can agree on, which is we're wasting a resource. Water is a resource, and it's something that can be used, whether it's for irrigation whether it's for fighting fires or dust control or what have you. And so everyone across the board, for, against injection wells could agree with that. So that was where I wanted to move forward from, and never mind this debate. And, touching base on the chemtrail issue too, the GMO, I was GMO-free Maui in the corner there. It's not about good or bad, Monsanto evil or good. It's about, please label what we're eating. Please just tell us if that is GMO. Please label it to say so we have the choice, to ingest it or not. That's all I'm asking. So I am pushing a bill through the state legislature, which I'm told every year it dies over and over and over again. But hopefully, if enough people get together, if enough voices are saying the same message, we unify and but hone in on that, because Monsanto is such a huge corporation. They got their lobbies, they got all the money and power in the world to buck this. But if it's simply about labeling, then if the company is so happy with their product, then they should be proud to be labeling it as such, and thereby notifying us exactly what is there. And it's our choice if we want to or not. So that's my focus with that. So I'm finding that I got to pick my battles. I'm finding that it's so much more productive to be able to not be one side or the other kind of thing, but just to find that common ground and something that's pretty neutral in a sense, but in the end gets the same results. In the end, it becomes the solution and the answer to what's going to help everybody. So that's definitely something in my purview and power to do as a council member. And so I'm extremely happy that I'm here to do that. So I just want to say I appreciate all the support who've gotten me to the place I'm at. And every 2 years we need to go through this again and vote and run and all this fun stuff. But it's all okay, because for me, I make the best use of my time each and every day. And each and every day, I'm learning something new to be able to make an educated decision and to vote for the broadest majority of people to be, beneficial. And so, I don't want to keep rambling. I want to just, I guess, turn it over to you folks if you have any questions for me or comments, concerns. Yes.
I just recently I've seen in the news or on the internet that there is an area in Wailea where there's 2 private wells, and water is now being talked about being sold to Taiwan at the amount of 500,000 gallons a day. Have you heard about this and what's happening with this issue?
She asked if I know about some wells in Wailea.
Yes.
Wailea, that will be pumping 500,000 gallons per day or so and selling water. And no, I have not heard of that. The people behind you that are filming, they asked me that question. They had mentioned Waihe'e wells, so I don't know anything about any wells being drilled for sale, for the water specifically for sale. Of course, there's people drilling wells for development, so that I'm not aware of. Sorry. Oh, okay. I guess this gentleman here has information about that. Yeah. I do know that one of our biggest exports in Hawaii is water, though. It comes off of the Big Island. So, or Hawaii Island. I'm told they want to be called Hawaii Island now instead of Big Island. So that was a shock to me, and I just found that out 2 months ago.
Yeah, this particular aquifer is already pumped sustainably. So if you pump more, you'll bring the seawater in.
Right.
Does that say that again?
It's very important thing.
We have a lot of wells, though, that are inactive or that are probably no longer in use due to the infiltration of seawater, the salinity factor of them. A lot of our lower elevated wells are brackish, of course. So a lot of it's used for irrigation, or it can be blended. Some people, people are blending it with the recycled type waters, which is, hey, that's a use of our recycled water, which I'm definitely for. And I think I'd like to see more of it. And good news is we will be. I was able to put money into upgrading our Lahaina facility and our Kahului facility in order to turn our wastewater into a higher level of reuse, which is R1. And so I'm excited that that's moving forward for our islands. Yes?
I don't know if it's part of that subject, but has anything ever been done to try to eliminate all the plastic bottles that are being used by tourists every single day? Water bottles?
No, I think our first step there was banning the plastic bags. So that's a step. Right now there is something in my committee. My committee is the Infrastructure Management Committee, and that has to do with water, wastewater, wastewater treatment facilities, and our landfill, so recycling and things. There is an item in my committee for the styrofoam containers. So I see Styrophobia is here. I'm sure they're on board with, yeah, let's get that going. And that hasn't moved forward as of yet. So that can come up for discussion. But nobody's talking about the plastic bottles, everything else comes in plastic. But our first step as the county were the plastic bags. Thank you. Is that time? Anyone else?
Got one more question for the councilwoman before we get to the next part of our.
Thank you, everyone, for listening, and always, by all means, stop by, and we're looking forward to talking with you. Aloha.